Oh, rim shot. Nate Jackson, Criterion Collection guy. We're at number 48, and we're going to Brazil for Black Orpheus. It's Black Orpheus. Oh man, this was a trip. I mean, those of you who know I'm a huge music guy, and within seconds they have the title sequence, and suddenly they just show the title and explosion, and they get that sick ass drum loop that just almost plays throughout the entire movie. You hear just like it's a trip. But anyway, hair out of the mouth aside, this is basically just this. Let's see. Details: 107 minutes. So it felt a hell of a lot longer because it's supplements, but we'll get to that a bit. It's Portuguese, and yeah, like I said, 48, number 48. We're making progress. So this one's basically just kind of a retelling of the old story of. It's based on, I think, a play by a man named Vinicius. What's his name? Vinicius de Moraes. It's based on, or it's inspired by the play, adapted in dialogue by Jacques Viot, directed by Marcel Camus. So basically, it's a story of eventually based on the old Greek play of Orpheus and Eurydice. But of course, told in a more modern setting. Orpheus, or is Orfeo, who's a train conductor, a rail conductor, who's to marry his sweetheart Mira, who's kind of a bitch. She's kind of just very superficial. Wants a ring, but he has to try to get his guitar out of Hawk. She wants him to get in the ring first, but the guitar is more important, obviously. And while this is happening, a young girl named Eurydice is coming to town to get away from a man called Death, or the figure of death which haunted her in her country. And of course, Orfeo and Eurydice meet, and Orfeo feels like it's destined to be because he knows the old story, and he knows that they were in love, and Mira doesn't want any of this, and she gets very, very jealous when Orfeo talks to her. Eurydice is staying with her cousin Seraphine. How convenient. And it's basically it's just mainly the story. Like, they end up falling in love because he's just tripping. Orfeo's just tripping that he met someone named Eurydice, and he knows that they were meant to be, and he kind of ignores Mira because of that. And so she gets all jealous, and she threatens to kill her. And meanwhile, Death finds his way to Brazil. I'm assuming it's set in Brazil because of Carnival. And during the Carnival celebration, Death finally starts to chase Eurydice, and they end up going to this railway station, and Orfeo accidentally kills her by turning on the power while she's hanging on to the wire, so the wire goes through her and electrocutes her, and she's dead. So he ends up, walking the streets and trying to find the missing persons department, and he meets this janitor who takes him to this place where this seance kind of thing is happening, and he starts praying or singing for her, hopefully that she'd come back, and suddenly he hears her voice, and it's part of the Greek story where Orpheus went to, I think, cross the river Styx and prayed for Eurydice to come back, and he hears her voice, and she tells him not to turn around, because if he does, then she'll be lost to him forever. And he does turn around, and so he ends up losing her, because it's like the voice is coming from an old woman behind him. And so he goes and in the end of the anyway, back to the movie though. Of course, Orpheus turns around, sees the old woman. He's like, "Why'd you trick her?" And he leaves, and then he takes the body of Eurydice and walks with her back to his village, where I guess Mira set his house on fire and ends up throwing a stone at him and toppling him over, and they both fall. Orfeo and Eurydice fall down the cliff and die. And these little kids take up his guitar and start to raise the sun, because there's this whole thing about Orpheus, this magic man who raises the sun with his guitar, which I think is an awesome little concept. And so the kids play the guitar and the sun rises, and they kind of adapt the new roles, because the kid playing guitar is now the new Orfeo. And yeah, but yeah, the music. That music. God, that's just, it's incessant. It's like stuck, it's that beat, which I love. It just got stuck in your head after a while. Because they would play it like, even, and it's probably true to the, the culture. That, there's so many songs where Orfeo, who's played by soccer player Brent Mello, plays, these really slow, sad songs of love and sadness and all that. Meanwhile, in the background, you still hear the beat outside, which is, of course, probably how it always was. So that's a nice little touch. At the same time, it was kind of just a little jarring, but still. Yeah, it's a great story. Great direction by Camus. There's just a lot of, there's not much that I can critique about this one. The music's great, story's great. And it helped that I'm familiar with the story of Orpheus and Eurydice, so that just like to see it on the stage or like in film, in just this really colorful display is just great. And it's got some great humorous moments, and it's a trip. It was a really good movie, and that's all I got to say about this one. So I'm giving it an A+ because it's just epic. It's epic like that, and it deserves a couple of rewatches. In fact, I think about 30 minutes into the film, I added it into the Criterion wishlist on my profile. So if Christmas comes up and you want to buy me something, get me Black Orpheus. If Barnes & Noble don't have another sale, I end up buying it myself. And yeah, that's the movie, A+. So supplements, which, oh god, the supplements. They put all the supplements on the second disc. Here we go. First of all, there's a 3-minute interview with the director, Marcel Camus, which is cool. He talks about how it was sort of a double-edged sword making the film, like how he got to enjoy the culture, but at the same time there were just certain obstacles that he had to overcome. A 5-minute interview with Marpessa Dawn, who played Eurydice, and it was kind of interesting. Just her interview was very interesting because she seemed very she said she didn't like the word star, but she acted like a star. She acted very quiet. She was very calm and quiet. Maybe that was just her person, but I read that. I totally read that in her face and her voice and her inflection. So there you go. Let's see. New interviews with Brazilian cinema scholar Robert Stamm, he talks about the culture for 17 minutes. It's boring. Jazz historian Gary Giddens and Brazilian author Roy Castro, they talk about music and costumes and all that for 17 minutes. And they talk about the influence of the bossa nova and like the U.S. explosion and how it came to the U.S. And eventually, of course, like by the second to last minute, they finally got to Gilberto and Getz album, which I thought, oh god, they're going to talk about that album. Which I'm not criticizing. I'm not criticizing that album. I'm just saying, well, it's got to come to that. Come on. But then, looking for Black Orpheus. A French documentary about Black Orpheus's culture and musical roots and its resonance in Brazil today. French, which means you can't skip it. Because they didn't put the English subtitles on the film, which meant that Criterion had to translate the film for the DVD, which meant that, because of the way the DVD player works, you can't fast forward through it and have the subtitles come on at the same time, so you have to play it through. there were, it's interesting at times because they got a lot of the. I mean, this was back when a lot of the stars were still, a couple of the stars were still alive. I think the actor who played, Brett Malo, who played Orpheus, um, was still alive, and it was really cool to hear him sing with a couple of the more contemporary Portuguese or Brazilian singers like Marcus Sacramento and Seu Jorge. This was very, very cool. And I think the actor who played, uh, Serafina's boyfriend, Chico, Walter de Sousa, I think we got him, and that was really cool to see him because he said he got really emotional. And they had, just a couple of the other people who worked on the film, and the composers, and some of the people who wrote the songs, and their ancestors and all that, and predecessors, and blah blah blah. And yeah, it was just kind of just like hard to take because it was over an hour and a half long. And I'd already sat through a movie, and the movie was fine, because it's the movie, like, okay, I can sit through, this is the main feature, but to see another movie like this and to have to like cripple yourself, especially when some of it just wasn't relevant to the movie. I was just wanted more about the movie. And I know that wasn't just about the movie, it was about Brazil today. They were trying to bring the movie to the future, or to today, or it was like from 2006, I think. So yeah, so there were scenes that I'll admit there were scenes that I skipped just because I don't own this. If I owned it, I would, obviously I'd have the choice to watch it because I spent the money on it. But of course, this is a library copy. As you can tell, I ended up pulling the thing out because I wanted to show this awesome cover, which is way better than the original cover, which actually I'm getting from the library today. But anyway, but you can see it on Criterion.com. But anyway, there were some songs that just went on too long, and just like they weren't like, and some of the songs that like they were singing songs from the movie which I'd already heard a billion times and stuff like that. That song, just they played that a billion times throughout the film and the supplements and all that. So yeah, I made a couple of sacrifices due to time constraints, and yeah. And then the trailer, which is awesome because it's narrated by the guitar. It's supposed to be narrated by the guitar, which is hilarious. And just huge letterings, and I read it like Rio de Janeiro, that cheesy, almost Zappa-esque style of sing song. And yeah, that's basically the story of Black Orpheus. It's a movie. It's a great movie, but the supplements just kind of are a little lackluster. And like the whole idea of these supplements are just like the analysis. It kind of just makes you not like it. I like that there's a little bit of mystery, and you can draw your own conclusions as to how the story is told, and like the history of these stories and these films. But to have somebody explain it to you and analyze it is just kind of throws it out. Throws the enjoyment of it, or the enjoyable experience of the movie out the window. Yeah. But it's about the film, it's about the music, and all that. Black Orpheus, A+, get it. I'm not going to throw this one because I have to take a photo for this, so anyway, so that's it for here. Yeah, sorry there haven't been any more Knights of Cabiria and the ship sails on just came in today, so yeah, I haven't been able to. This was the only one I had to do this whole weekend, and so I thought I'd save it for Tuesday because I've been busy the last couple of days. And yeah, so that's it. So this weekend we will get to the next 3. Probably we'll do Knights of Cabiria, probably Sunday, maybe Saturday, and the ship sails on Sunday or Monday, and then Brazil Monday or Tuesday. So we shall see, but we shall see what the future entails for us. And yeah, until then, thanks for watching, and go be a Black Orpheus. Don't get yourself killed off a cliff, and go get a set of drums in play and costumes and blah 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 blah. And don't look back because she's right behind you, and that's the most important thing. Otherwise, you lose it forever. Thanks for watching, and we will see you this weekend for Knights of Cabiria maybe, and the rest of those films. Anyway. And until then, goodbye.